It is the epitome of cringe, and that is Meghan Markle's new trailer for her Netflix series called, get this, With Love, Meghan. The woman who actively hates her in laws, her own family, some of her friends, and cuts them out of her life with seemingly no real purpose is making things for other people with love because she wants you to know she's thinking about you. Isn't that a little creepy? And I'm looking at this whole thing and can't help but wonder, did Meghan Markle just abandon her entire lifestyle brand strategy? Was she forced by Netflix to launch this thing much earlier than she wanted to because she is too incompetent to get American Riviera Orchard off the ground? I think that's what's happening because we have a series of weird blunders regarding this trailer, her Instagram account, and everything, which makes me think that somehow this was sort of a rushed, hashed job. And this does not reflect well on Meghan's future prospects in the entertainment industry and in this lifestyle space. Because the big question is, why does this series exist? Because if it's not to sell cookery or products or what have you, then why this series at all? Unless, of course, Meghan Markle is too incompetent to get her trademarks together, to get her patents together, and she has to launch this thing under Netflix directives before she's ready. And I think that's what's happening. Somebody else has suggested that, and I think that's definitely worth exploring because the trailer for this series is an epic train wreck because I mean, the series is called With Love from Meghan. It's like, you mean the woman who actively cut her in laws, her own family, and friends out of her life when they crossed her? That woman, she creates things because she wants people to know she's thinking about them. I'm like, no, it should be titled With Love from Meghan to Meghan because this is so self obsessed, so self aggrandizing, so pretentious, so cringy, so fake, contrived. This show is going to flop. And it's also lost its initial purpose, which is to promote her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. And so she's going to miss out on a huge revenue stream because of this. So we are going to get into this today because I do find Harry and Meghan's business deficiencies quite fascinating because the two of them had every opportunity to be unbelievably successful, and yet they bungle it every single time. And there are plenty of bungles to go over because this show, I have no clue who it's going to appeal to. But we are going to get into the trailer. I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts about what I think might be truly going on here and how Meghan Markle might be potentially very, very screwed when it comes to this series. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, hello, my name is Brittany and I provide compelling royal commentary. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button, I would love to have you back. We have an amazing fun time here. And if you are interested in obviously in hearing a lot of my analysis and lead up to this series, please subscribe because I'll be doing a lot of this, not just talking about Meghan, but really looking at this from a marketing branding strategy thing. Because what I find for particularly Harry and Meghan so interesting, especially Meghan, is that they can hire some of the best resources, the people, the experts in the world. And yet, she can't get a stinking trademark together. She launched her Instagram account without changing it from just Meghan to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. But she didn't also add the. It should be Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, as she has on American Riviera Orchard. She shared a video on her Instagram that was the wrong ratio and was not of good quality. So she had to delete it and re upload another video. I mean, how in the world do you bungle things this badly for somebody who has all the money and the help that she does? But I think there's, of course, a bigger story going on here, which is that Netflix told her, you either launch this or we shelve it entirely. I think maybe that's what's happening behind the scenes because Meghan, I'm sure, wanted to launch this with American Riviera Orchard, which she seemingly can't do because she can't get out of trademark hell because apparently none of her staff members or herself can do any research when it comes to names and trademarking names. It's like unbelievable that this is happening. But again, I find this so fascinating. So we are going to get into this, but let's start off with the trailer. So number one, let me look at it here and refresh this page, guys, because always what I want to look at is something very important, which is the ratio. So what we have right now is 2,700 likes to 13,000 dislikes. And oh, there it is. So there we got the actual number right there. And so Yeah, this is not looking particularly good. I think that's a little bit more than 10%, maybe around 20-ish. That's the last time I looked at it and done the math. This is not a good thing. Being ratioed is not a good thing. This is well known in the industry. And let's as well take a glance at Meghan's description for this, because I want you to think about this and think about Meghan Markle, and does she encompass any of this that she's trying to sell? So the tag for this series is "Love is in the details." You know, the woman who can't correctly upload things to her Instagram account, blunders her Instagram account, blunders a variety of things. Of course, is detail oriented. We've been told she's has freakish attention to detail, which is why I can't remember which thing didn't happen because she had a freakish attention to detail. But there was something where, oh, she's so detail oriented. Yeah, obviously not as well. And it says, "With love, Meghan," a new series premieres on January 15th. And it says right here, this inspiring series produced by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, which is actually a divorced royal's name, not a married royal's name, by the way, reimagines the genre of lifestyle programming, blending practical how-dos and candid conversation with friends, new and old. Meghan shares personal tips and tricks, embracing playfulness over perfection. I want to highlight that for a second. Think about that as you watch this video. And it highlights how easy it can be to create beauty, even in the unexpected, says a woman from the $14-15 million mansion with millions of dollars to make things look beautiful. She's going to help you try to make things beautiful. Probably not going to work. She and her guests roll up their sleeves in the kitchen, the garden, and beyond, and invite you to do the same. But of course, she doesn't invite her in-laws, her actual blood family, or some of her friends. So, how real is this? Not so much. So, Meghan invites friends and famous guests to a beautiful California estate where she shares cooking, gardening, and hosting tips. What I find, again, something to highlight is that this woman lives in a fantasy world. I want to share this picture right here with you, real quick. This is Mindy Kaling and Meghan, supposedly from this show. Look at that. And tell me, look at that picture and tell me, are you personally going to have a party that looks as perfect as this? Like, they're in a gazebo outside with balloons. Like, my mom was looking at a balloon arch and she was surprised how expensive it was, and she made it herself. And all these china decorations and stuff. How many thousands of dollars do you think is in that room? How many thousands of dollars worth of clothes are these two women wearing? How in the world is that approachable to anyone? I would argue it's not. I would argue this is completely so over the top, and like, who in the world would this appeal to except for other wealthy women in California? Like, I don't even know if them. And so I just wanted to highlight that because one of the big things when it comes to something like this is that you want it to be approachable to people. You can sometimes walk the line between being ostentatious and also sort of approachable as well. Like, it's a very fine balance to walk. I don't think Megan's going to hit it here because I look at this picture and I see two obscenely wealthy women going about an obscenely wealthy party and not giving two craps about you who can't pay your bills on time, or counting all your coupons and getting everything you need to feed your family. These women are so stinking out of touch with reality, and I don't think that is going to play well. In a world that seems very uncertain with high inflation and everything, how in the world is this picture going to appeal to anyone? The answer is it's not. And there could be a lifestyles of the rich and famous sort of issue here, but I don't know even if that would play necessarily super well in this particular environment. It might not. I don't know. And I do got to say as well, guys, my comment here is very popular, has 625 likes. And this is on their Netflix, because you bet your bottom dollar, guys, Meghan Markle has not allowed any comments on her Instagram, even though allegedly, and I was going to do this for my video today, she wants conversations with people, but don't you dare actually comment, because she wants to talk at you. She doesn't want to actually create a community. She wants to talk at you. But let's begin this. I might have to pause or mute some of it for the song and copyright reasons, but let's begin.
Let's make a show.
Let's go. So I have to say, her doing this little thing looks so fake. And she's wearing a lot of beige, you will notice, a lot of white in the kitchen. What normal woman wears beige in the kitchen? What normal woman wears beige in the kitchen? Tell me who's supposedly going to cook.
Let's go. I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it.
Okay, so none of this is particularly interesting. Like, I want to say something ordinary and elevate it. I'm like, nothing about this is elevating anything. And I've seen you attempt to elevate things, and you're really not very good at it. She doesn't really have a great fashion sense, and I feel like some of this elevation comes from actually being creative, and she's not a particularly creative person. And because she doesn't have talent and creativity, she can't really elevate things because she just doesn't even have the basic understanding of what makes something good to begin with, if that makes sense. So we also got the wine glass here, because remember, the talk was, and this looks like rosé wine, that Meghan Markle wanted to sell, first off, rosé wine for American Riviera Orchard. Of course, she can't get there. Keep an eye on, somebody said, some of the items that she uses here, because she may be like, these bowls she may have been trying to sell, but I don't know if she can sell them. So let's keep going.
Surprising people with moments that let them know I was really thinking of them.
So she says that. The woman who literally went on Oprah Winfrey to tell everyone how much she hated her in-laws. She wants you to know she's thinking of you. I feel like that's more of a curse than a blessing. I don't want Meghan Markle thinking of me. She's not particularly kind. And that doesn't work. Here's the thing, when you say with love, but yet we've actively seen you hate, doesn't compute. It just simply doesn't compute. You can't hate on your family and then turn around and go, oh, I just love everyone. I want to host everyone. I want to invite you, which she'll mention here as well. I want to invite you in. It's like, no, you don't. Don't lie. Don't lie. That's not true. That is not true. We've seen this time and time again. Even how you treat your staff. You supposedly on 2 continents have been alleged to be a bully to your staff members, to be a horrible, terrible boss. So you're telling me that you really are all that? You want to host people, you want people to know you're thinking about them? Are you thinking about them, or do you want them to be thinking about you? You want to be nice so they get to be thinking about you. All of this comes from an incredibly narcissistic, self-obsessed perspective, and I don't find it all that appealing, and I don't know how many other people would either. And this is so perfect. Oh, and I bet you she is going to try to sell those knives. What do you want to bet you? But like, look at this. Who's making that? That's what I want to know. Granted, I'm not much of a cook, so I can't really say. But honestly, guys, who is making that day in, day out? That's the thing. I think it was just like, how is she appealing to people? Because most people aren't going to make that.
What? This is
Oh, gosh.
probably one of the most glamorous moments of my life.
That is such a stupid comment. Sorry. It makes me cringe. Like, the whole thing makes me cringe. This is so incredibly stupid, so incredibly contrived and fake and over the top. And she's literally wearing a Louis Vuitton shirt. I'm absolutely positive that is Louis Vuitton. I could be wrong, but I think that's a Louis Vuitton denim shirt. She is all glammed up in the perfect hair and makeup. All right, guys, I did do a reverse image search, and it is from Valentino. It is a $2,000 denim shirt, if you're wondering. At least $2,000. Could be more. I'm not sure. This is a one that looks very similar. The one she got might have been different, but yes, Valentino. Because you know, you do that when you go and cook with your friends. Like, there's nothing that I can see appealing to anybody about this show, because it's so self-obsessed. I mean, even the title reveals this. Meghan Markle is so stinking self-obsessed. She names her show With Love, Meghan. None of this is going to appeal to people. And they did an outfit change because, you know, I showed you that picture earlier. Okay, and why in the world? Her hair is perfectly done up. And of course, her part, though, is a completely different color than her forehead. Just got to say. And she's wearing beige. She's supposed to be cooking. Like, why is she wearing beige? Who in their right mind, if they're an actual person making stuff in the kitchen, wears beige? And it's also screams very fake.
I'm going to share some little tips and tricks.
And who does this? I just want to know. Who gets to go into a shop that sells flowers like this and get to pick whatever they want to make a bouquet? I don't know about you, but most people do fake flowers if they do bouquet making, or you buy multiple bouquets, take the flowers out of it that you want, like from the supermarket, and you can make your own bouquet that way. Normal people don't do this. Normal people don't get to do this. This comes across as incredibly, incredibly fake and contrived, and something that is not approachable to most people because they will never get to do this.
I see what color I gravitate to, and everything goes from there.
So, and again, we could pause. Meghan Markle wearing all white. She has red right here. It looks like those are cut up strawberries. And I would imagine she wanted to sell that bowl at one point and maybe these things as well. And she has made a little bit of ice cream and she is serving it to her friends. And again, how fake and contrived does this look? Does this make any stinking sense to you? I would argue it does not. Oh, and you have these glasses you'll see later. She puts dead flowers in ice so that she can have like I just who does this? I want to know who stinking does this. Like, this is so, I don't know who in the world this would appeal to in terms of like hosting and stuff. Who would this appeal to? Because it looks like a multimillionaire woman making stuff for her multimillionaire friends, but this is supposed to have global appeal. I don't think so.
And how you can incorporate these practices.
So look at how like overdone these things are and how like the perfect presentation. It's like you can do that when you're doing stuff, but I also feel like to me, it screams as somebody who has way too much time on their hands and probably has a million other people doing the little things so she can make the thing look perfect. And yeah.
Every day. That's what you want. You want that shape and texture.
I think when it comes to these sorts of shows, I think the ones that are really successful, either you almost overplay into the trope of being a very wealthy woman and ridiculously over the top, or you have to play it more approachable. I think what Meghan Markle is trying to do is play it as if it's approachable, but also being an obscenely wealthy woman. And that sort of disconnect for most people will not play well. It won't play well because people are going to be like, I can't live like that. I can't live like that. So how am I supposed to take any of these recipes? How am I can't get that particular, let's say strawberry. I can't get the perfect basil. I can't find whatever the heck these edible flower things are that you're getting. I can't get any of that. So how is this as an audience member supposed to appeal to me? And we're not doing the thing. Because I guess Paris Hilton has her own cooking show, which I think would be a little ridiculous because we all know Paris Hilton doesn't cook. But if she almost plays into it, it works. Think of Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner has her little cooking show that she does on Instagram. And I feel like it's very approachable because it's in her kitchen. It seems very natural. This seems just utterly fake. And I feel like this is something that may have worked 10 years ago. But given the economy, given the state of the world, I don't think this will play as well now because I feel like it only appeals to women who are in Meghan's demographic in terms of a seemingly wealthy woman living in Montecito. I don't think this will appeal to much of anybody else. This strikes me as a series that's very much in the Hollywood bubble. And I only mention this because I recently watched a series called Based on a True Story. And I would have probably dropped the series if not for the fact that I thought it had an interesting sort of satire and commentary on America's obsession and especially women's obsession with true crime. That was sort of interesting. But what I didn't like about the series is that I thought sometimes it got way too Hollywood. And I'm like, no normal person does these kind of things. So who are these people? Do these people really exist? Are they fake? I don't know.
Come on.
The little dance she does, I feel like is so stinking fake. That's so fake.
This is about connecting.
Oh, she's feeding her dog. Oh, so we actually get to see the biscuits that she made and can't sell.
With friends. I love that we're doing this.
Oh gosh. So she makes candles and then she has to do her fancy cursive and goes, Daniel's candles. Okay. I have this great candle thing that I watched on Instagram that somebody did that was super duper cool because of what it was that it was this woman, like she had some sort of big candle thing and she was done with it. So she broke it up, remelted it, and then reused it in other candle things. And I'm like, well, that's cool because we all have candle stuff we're sort of done with. We can all get the wax out and redo this. This looks like to me, I'm going to guess because she shows bees later, is that this is beeswax for these candles and they made them and it's just very pretentious. It's very pretentious, not really something most other people would be like, yeah, this looks great.
Together for the first time.
And again, look, she is cooking in white. Although she does have this apron on. It'd be interesting to know if they had to actually go in and digitally remove the thing that said American Riviera Orchard or something. But they're doing candles. Oh, impressive.
Time making
Okay, who makes that? Who makes that? Like, that doesn't look appealing to me as a recipe at all. Now, granted, it looks like there's some peaches there. I like peaches. I don't really like cucumbers, but I don't even know what that is. It doesn't like you can watch things on Instagram. Guys, I've watched a lot of things on Instagram where I'm like, ooh, that looks good. And I like save it. And I'm not much of a chef, but I was like, this does not look appealing. This looks like something in a 5-star restaurant that I would never ever be able to recreate at home. And even though none of us can make something look as perfect as it does on TV, I feel like this is even more unobtainable and something that people are like, no. Actually, you know what I love? Tagging on Pinterest is grilled cheese recipes. I think they look amazing.
new friends. That is so good.
We family now.
Oh, and this is some sort of
We family now.
so they have chicken there. He's some sort of chef guy. I have no clue because I don't follow cooking.
Now.
I'm just learning.
So she is actually copying Catherine, the Princess of Wales there, because Catherine showed a picture of herself in 2023 doing beekeeping. And we all know Meghan probably doesn't do that.
Look at how much honey we have.
Do you believe in magic?
We're not in
So again, this looks so overly perfect. So I don't know, maybe it's because, again, I don't cook much, but I'm like, none of this seems appealing to me. Even as somebody who's like, well, maybe this can get me interested in cooking. This is not going to get me interested in cooking.
the pursuit of perfection. Woke us all up.
I feel like that pic, guys, is so incredibly fake.
Woke us all up.
Oh, she's like, ooh, I got lemon juice.
Perfection. Woke us all up.
And here's, guys, so she froze edible flowers in ice cubes. Again, would you do this normally? No. This is probably for like lavender lemonade or something, I would betcha. But I don't even know where to find that kind of thing. And would I do that for like my friends coming over? No. Would I do that for a big party? Maybe, but probably not.
We're in the pursuit of joy.
In the pursuit of joy. Joy, I mean, hating on your family. Yeah.
Joy. Love is in the
Okay, this is the other thing. Look, she's putting fake flowers on homemade donuts. Who does this? Who does this? Like, so I will say, guys, I might try to find a picture. I don't know if I'll find a picture, but I actually got a cookie in Amsterdam. Sorry, The Hague, that had dead rose petals on it or whatever. And it was really cool. That would be something I'd go to a bakery for. I would not make it at home. Just because, number one, who has the time? Who has the money and energy to do something like this? To me, I look at this and I think, who does this? That could just be me. And I don't cook much, mostly because I live by myself and I don't want to create a big meal just for me. Not really, doesn't really appeal to me much. But this is insane.
the details.
Love is in the details, but you shall see. She blundered quite a few things recently.
I have to do it totally wrong to get it totally.
Oh, and I thought that Meghan looked particularly awful there. Sorry. And it's funny too, because this is sort of a picture like she used on her Instagram profile. And I'm like, yeah, that's not you looking your prettiest, to be quite honest. I don't quite get it, but I feel like this looks a little fake and contrived.
To get it totally right.
So it looks like here she's giving food to the crew. And what's interesting is my mom was talking about it and she's like, well, Joanna Gaines, she's so great. She gives food to the crew. I'm like, well, it looks like Meghan did that too. So she's obviously copying Joanna Gaines. But Joanna Gaines actually talks to her family, makes food for her children. So there's an authenticity there that Meghan obviously lacks. Create wonder. Like how? None of that is wonder that I saw in there. It's again, I feel like she's over projecting what this could be.
Look at what we made.
Okay, I will say, I actually do think this is kind of clever. I will say, I'll say something nice. And somebody said too, maybe these plates are ones that she's gonna try to sell, but I don't know. I don't know.
Look at what we made.
What is it? Look at what we made. Okay. Wanted to double check. But it's like she's sitting in her garden with, olive oil, like doing a picnic. Like, how many of you take olive oil on your picnics? I would guess not many. Every moment. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. We have to go back. This is so fake. And look at what she's wearing, guys. Who wears this to cook? Now, granted, maybe she's not cooking here, but seriously, who wears this to cook? And more white. We did see that before. And so, with love, Meghan, of course, in her fancy cursive. And it said, I forgot to add this, everyone's invited. Well, not her in-laws, not her family, and not some of her friends, and not her employees. So this is a bald-faced lie. I'm sorry. That's what it is. Not everyone is invited. Not everyone is invited because she's very particular about who she invites. She's very particular about who she lets into her life. And she's very ready to cut anybody out who crosses her. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but this is a bald-faced lie. So we get this little moment here at the end.
By snoring.
So this is her dog, and remember, who broke his 2 front legs after she moved to the UK.
Peaceful day.
I'm so sorry, but I just don't know who this is supposed to appeal to. And we do have some info. So every episode, there'll be 8 episodes, which is actually, guys, I will have to say right now, I was 100% right because I said many times there would be only 8 episodes. I was right. And they'll be 33 minutes apiece. So we got that. And I will have to say, though, one of my favorite headlines, guys, and I feel like this is low-key trolling, or maybe not low-key, but maybe actually some pretty hardcore trolling, is The Hollywood Reporter. It says Meghan Markle's Netflix trailer shows her super normal life in love with Meghan. I feel like that is a totally low-key trolling. They're trolling her right there. And I love it. There was some other thing that they said. So they said, some focaccia bread as she harvests honey and laughs humbly at a compliment while hosting famous friends. I feel like they're so low-key trolling her here, which I find really, really hysterical. But not all of this is sunshine and roses. Because, guys, I don't think this was the initial plan. Because remember, American Riviera Orchard launched in March of 2024. We were told at the time that it would launch in the spring, officially with products, then became the summer, then the fall, now 2025. But what if it's been abandoned essentially all together? Because Real Tea, which is an account on X, which I've shown a couple of their tweets before, and I like them because I feel like they try to be fairly neutral overall for the most part. And I feel like her take here is very, very good. And it is this. The new IG account makes sense. Netflix wanted the show to air, and they couldn't secure ARO trademark in time after multiple rejections. They had to pivot the name, social strategy, and overall branding. I wonder if an Instagram account was required for production. That's a bit fascinating, isn't it? And I don't think they're wrong. I think this change reflects the absolute catastrophic disaster and blunder that has been American Riviera Orchard. I don't know if it'll ever launch at this point. I had some thought that it would, but now that they've been forced to launch the Netflix show now, I wonder if they're going to pivot a bunch of things. Or maybe even Netflix, because Richard Eden has said that Netflix is taking over production. I wonder if the products related to the show are not going to be produced via Meghan, but actually that Netflix will produce them. It'll be done under their name, and it'll be connected with her, but Netflix will control it, which means Netflix will get a good cut of the profits, if there are any, because they control it. Because if you guys look at this show, you got to wonder, why does it exist? My mom kept asking me that, which I thought was really interesting. She kept going, why does this exist? Why does her Instagram account exist? None of this makes sense. And in some ways it doesn't. This was a woman who has railed against social media and the dangers of it. So she's back on it, and she wants to create a better community and show people how social media should be, which is delusional narcissism. Because number one, social media is the way it is because human beings are on it. I've said this a lot, But I feel like this always needs to be reiterated. If you have a dream that the internet is going to be perfect, look outside and find perfection in this world. You won't really find it. Why? Because this is a broken, sinful world. Ergo, nothing will be perfect, especially when it comes to human beings. Human beings are on social media. And because human beings are on social media will always be the fifth level of hell. It will always be that. Why? Because humans are sinful and they bring that sin everywhere they touch. So, you will never get away from it. There will always be horrors and terrors out there. Always, always, always that will be the case. So when it comes to social media, does Meghan's view that she can make it perfect or that she can show people how it really runs? No, because people always interfere. So the only way she does it is by creating community, by launching the social media account and not allowing any comments, which is the antithesis of creating community. And then when you look at the account as well, she's made a couple blunders there too. Because when she initially launched it, and I'm glad I got a screenshot of it, it just said Meghan. And I was like, great, we should just call her Meghan Markle. We should call her the Duchess of Sussex or anything. It should just be Meghan Markle, not even Meghan, because she's not Cher, she's not Madonna, she's not Oprah. She hasn't had the level of success I think that you need to be going by one name. That's reserved for a certain class of very, very successful people and people in a lot of ways who are really divas and they are able to do these sorts of things. Meghan Markle is not that person. So then she changed it to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, which is actually different than how she labels herself on American Riviera Orchard, which is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So you have competing Duchess of Sussex things now. One that talks about her as if she is divorced, because Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Duchess of Sussex means that she's divorced. Well, Meghan the Duchess of Sussex means she's married. So is she setting up a future without Harry? Minds want to know. And then she did something, and from Berkshire to Buckingham actually was the one who caught this, is that she uploaded the initial video, which was poor quality and done more in a profile thing for the trailer, then had to delete it and re-upload a better quality video with the correct aspects ratio. So what does that mean? That means that it was a blunder. So she's had 2 blunders with the social media account since launching it, which is crazy to me. Or I guess putting the video on it, because the account was active for a long time and free for people to sign up. So she did that. And then she bungled it with the video. The woman who has a freakish attention to detail bungled multiple things in a couple of days. And then you have the overall bungle of American Riviera Orchard, because without American Riviera Orchard, without the ability to sell things with love, Meghan doesn't really make a ton of sense, because those type of shows are there to sell things. If she cannot sell things, then this show is just going to be going on and into the ether. And who's going to buy her stuff? Like, how expensive would it be and stuff like that? Like, those are the type of things we don't even know. And she's clearly, because we've seen her create candles, she's feeding her dog a dog biscuit. She clearly wanted to connect American Riviera Orchard with these homespun things she was doing. But that didn't work. That did not work. And so now she has to pivot. But to pivot means that she's giving up the thing that's actually going to make her money, which is selling things. So is she going to sell things through like sponsorships on the program? Or is she going to sell things through her social media profile? Hey, I used this knife in this episode. Buy it here. Well, then she really is commercializing her title. Then she really is just after it for the money. It's all about money. And her claims of winning privacy or that she didn't like the attention of the royal family is revealed once again to be complete and utter hogwash. What she liked, and it's kind of funny because my mom came to this conclusion, and I've said this before, but it deserves to be resaid. She loves the attention. She just hated that she couldn't control how the attention went. Meghan Markle wants to be as famous as humanly possible. She wants to control her narrative as much as humanly possible. She wants people to believe she is perfect, the best, most wonderful person, amazing, which is probably how she was raised. She was probably told time and time again how wonderful, perfect, and amazing she is. So she believed it. Don't necessarily fault her for that, but she definitely 100% believed it. And so she wants people to keep believing this. Unfortunately for her, is that we saw through the faked and contrivedness. I mean, this is a woman who loves Instagram because it is fake, shallow, and contrived in a lot of ways. And she doesn't like the authenticity that exists on TikTok, on X, and on YouTube. She doesn't like it because she can't control it. She can't control how people perceive her, because in her mind, she wants to have all that attention, all that fame, all that fortune, all that accolades, but she doesn't want it if it goes negative. And unfortunately for her, the majority of it has been negative. And so she can't right that ship. So I don't think, though, that this is going to help at all. Let's double check. So, guys, we have it updated again. 13,000 dislikes to 2.9 thousand likes. Meghan Markle has a likability problem. Now, I'm not going to say definitively that this won't perform well. It might perform really well. The problem Meghan Markle has is that her faked and contrived nature, I don't think overall is going to play well long term. I don't think it's going to play well. I think she's going to have issues. I don't think this show is going to appeal to anyone. When it comes to branding and everything, you want it to appeal to people. And I look at the images, I look at the video itself, and I'm like, this looks so out of touch from normal people. And a lot of Hollywood is out of touch with normal people. And when you're so in the Hollywood bubble, you can't see how what you're doing might either offend people or how much people might look going, I can't meet my daily needs, and you're putting fake dead flowers in eyes thinking that appeals to me. I would argue for most people, it doesn't. And we shall wait and see, but I don't think this series is going to be very successful. I don't think this series is going to be the boon Meghan Markle hopes it is. In fact, I imagine it was going to be much better when she had American Riviera Orchard, but she bungled that. It got completely and utterly bungled, and she can't secure the trademark. And so she's kind of sort of screwed. And without being able to sell things, I just don't know how successful she'll be. I mean, right now, American Riviera Orchard is still live. It actually has, let's see, an interesting thing. Ooh, because it has two. Let's look at this real quick, guys, because this is obviously kind of sort of important to the story of Meghan Markle in this whole debacle, which is this is from the US trademark search. And you can actually see here American Riviera Orchard is pending. But what's interesting here is you have the original that Meghan submitted, and now it's been changed to this. So she submitted this, but this didn't really work because you can see they're asking for the same things, and they've minimized some things and have changed it to this much more recognizable thing. So we shall see if this goes ahead. And it's also over here as well. So definitely Mama's knows best. And you guys can see as well here that American Riviera had to be abandoned at one point by somebody else. So we shall see how all this works for Meghan Markle. But let me know what you think of the trailer. Let me know what you think of Meghan Markle's self-obsession in this latest endeavor. I'd love to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again very, very soon. Bye.